Hello and welcome back to Comic Club. You're watching episode 4. We're more than halfway through now. Reading Once and Future, Volume 1, The King is Undead, created by Kieran Gillen and Dan Mora. This is episode 4. We're going to be going through chapter 4. Chapter 4 out of 6 issues, so we've got 3 left to go. And we're going to go over a quick recap of what happened last time. So, what we had King Arthur's... what did we have last time? King Arthur was thwarted by Duncan and Bridget. Then Duncan and Bridget managed to rope Rose into the team, as she's a historian and will help in a way that we're not quite sure yet. And what else happened? Oh yeah, and then we had the introduction to Galahad, who is the son of the main female antagonist, as well as King Arthur. So what am I hoping for this time? So the last issue ended on a cliffhanger again, where Bridget was aiming a rifle, maybe a sniper rifle, maybe just a normal rifle, at Galahad's head without them knowing. So what I'm hoping for, what I think will happen, what I'm hoping for is her just to shoot him in the head, and this will just be over. But of course, it's not going to be like that. What is probably going to happen is Duncan's going to mess up. Duncan's going to get clumsy. The shot is just going to skim past Galahad. King Arthur and his knights are going to be made aware of their position, and they're going to have to either fight or run away or hide. Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen at the start of the issue. But in terms of what else is going to happen, not sure. Hopefully we'll find out more about the antagonists, the group they belong to, who this woman is, why she is so entangled in the thought of giving King Arthur her son, and her son finding the Holy Grail for King Arthur. But there's only one way to find out, and that's to crack on and read this. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Here we go. Wow, there's a part here, a whole page that I want to spend some time on. It's the panel here. The panels are very curvy and wavy and kind of give like a supernatural kind of feel to it. I'll go into that more later on. Whoa, that's brutal. Oh my god. I think that's the longest I've stared at like a last page of a comic for a while, in disbelief and awe. And well, overall that was really good. That was fantastic. Couple plot twists and yeah, really good. Okay, let's start from the beginning. So we carry on right from the end of issue 3, chapter 3, where Rose is waiting outside the castle that Duncan and Bridget entered. She's approached by the police, trying to, not raise suspicion or not let them go inside. And then with Duncan and Bridget, then you see her looking through the scope of the gun, and she's taking aim at Galahad, who's being knighted at this moment by King Arthur. And unfortunately, his mother, whose name is Elaine, now that I remember, she gets in the way, pretty much. So she kind of waits around, and while he's being knighted, King Arthur says something really cool. He says, "Find the Grail, let the land be healed, let the Anglos burn, let the Saxon cancer be purged in cauterizing flame." Now that pretty much tells us what his main goal is. I mean, like, we had an idea but we know he hates Anglo-Saxons burn. He hates the Anglo-Saxons and he wants them to burn. He wants them to die, and he just wants this land to be cleansed and clean and pure, and how he wants it. And he needs the Grail for that, and Galahad will find it. So after he gets knighted, Bridget now has the perfect aim, and just as she's about to shoot, I did mention earlier that I was expecting Duncan to mess up or something to stop her from shooting, but no, he actually physically stopped her. He stood up because he was kneeling down and she was leaning the gun on his shoulder, but he stood up and shook her off and said, no, we're not having this. But as he stood up, the gun shot, and they are now all alerted. King Arthur tells the knights to destroy them, and then they have to make a run for it. What was really cool, the bit that I talked over in the time lapse, was when they're running back through the cathedral that they're in, and the panels are really wavy and curvy. I'll show you. So I don't quite understand what's going on, but it's something to do with the fact that they're in the other world, and I feel like something's trying to stop them. But it's a really good way to draw out a kind of supernatural, mind-bending illusion, and I really like that. It's really cool. You can tell how it's affecting Duncan and Bridget. They're struggling to run. It looks, the end of the door to the cathedral looks like miles and miles away in those dreams that people have. And that was probably my favourite page of the book, just because I've never seen anyone do anything like that with panels before, make them all wavy and kind of illusionary, and yeah, really big fan of that. They managed to get out of the cathedral, and Rose is holding a candle, and they're begging her to kind of snuff the candle, because otherwise the knights will come out of the cathedral. They'll be able to attack them then. So what happens? Rose is very on edge, and she doesn't understand what's going on, doesn't quite know what to do. And before she can snuff out the candle, one of the knights come out and pretty much in graphic detail decapitates one of the policemen that came up to Rose, and then proceeds to stab the other one through the chest with his sword. Then Rose gains her composure, she snuffs out the candle, and then he disappears, and now they're just left with two dead policemen. Obviously, they freak out afterwards, and but they do learn whilst Galahad was being knighted that the Grail is in the Grail Castle, and she knows exactly where the Grail Castle is. But this is where people are starting to get suspicious of Bridget's history. Rose kind of starts to question her. I'm trying to think. Yeah, so Rose says here, she says, "How did you know how to find the Grail Castle?" And then as soon as Bridget starts to open up, all she says is "I," and then all of a sudden, the kind of world that they're in, the sky is night, and it just shifts to the colours of the other world. It's kind of like a pink orangey hue with purple, orange, red speckles everywhere, and a green mist, and that kind of lets you know as a reader that you're in the other world, or people from the other world are approaching. So they manage to run into this house, and they find the Kingfisher. The Kingfisher is a man who, from what I can gather, to be a Kingfisher, you need to be shot in the crotch, or have your crotch removed or made unusable, I think. But anyway, they find the Kingfisher. Bridget tries to kill him. She tries shooting through a wall to make him dead, because without the Kingfisher you can't find the Grail. So she shoots him through the wall. Duncan and Rose are freaking out. How can you kill someone? How can you just murder someone? And she's like, you need to understand the stakes that are going on here. But it's too late. The knights and Galahad barge into the house. They try to fight them off with their guns, but to no avail. They got too much armor on. Their swords and shields are deflecting the bullets, and it just doesn't go to plan. Turns out the Kingfisher didn't die. Bridget missed, and shows Galahad to a door. Galahad walks through the door to enter into a new area where he finds the Grail Castle. I think the door was acting like a portal. He goes through there to see the Grail Castle, and he knows this is his destiny. Now, this is where the plot twist happens. Okay, so they all kind of realize that Galahad has gone through the door, and Bridget is all like, you need to go through the door, this is your job. And he doesn't understand why Bridget isn't going. So they find the Kingfisher, and there's a big argument, and you can tell straight away there's a lot of history with them. You don't know, it seems like they used to be married or something. They're definitely in the same family, and it seems like he used to be a monster hunter as well. He says, what's a family of monster hunters to do in a world without monsters? And he thinks that what Bridget is doing is wrong. She shouldn't be trying to stop everything, and he's trying to bring everything back so he can hunt more monsters, or he can allow his family to hunt more monsters. And so in the previous issues, you've learned that they kind of made Galahad believe that it's his destiny to find the Grail, give it to King Arthur and things. And then there's an argument going on between Bridget and the Kingfisher, and the Kingfisher asks Duncan what's his middle name, and he says, well, it's Percy. And he goes, yes, for Percival. This means that your gran, Bridget, has been training you from birth to be the innocent Grail Knight. Just in case that she ever needed him to get the Grail. But, another plot twist, he also needs a Kingfisher. And then what happens at the very end of the issue is that this old man, this Kingfisher, just shoots himself through the head, point blank, and he's gone. So, and that's the end of the issue. So, how that has ended is they now have no way to the Grail Castle, no special portal or door to go through to get to the Grail Castle to stop Galahad. So they've got to find another way. That was fantastic, full of twists and turns and history and more character development and just tension. Really enjoyed it. I'm going to go onto the scores, onto the ratings. Story. The story overall of that issue was great. It was gripping, tense, awesome, and just mystical, brilliant, colourful, dark, fantastical, suspensey. This was brilliant. Okay, story. I'm not sure how much better it can get, but I don't want to give it a 10. Really enjoyed it. It's going to be a 9.5. Art, like I've said, they've done. They do it really well in being able to tell the reader that you're in the other world without saying, by the way, you're in the other world, by shifting the kind of colours around them. So like I said earlier, the Dark Knight changing to like a orangey pink sky with kind of like orange and red and blue and purple speckles and green mist, and that kind of instant change tells you as a reader, danger's coming, something's going to happen. You need to get yourself ready. And like I said earlier, with that area, that was all illusionary and twisty and turny and fantastic. again, that's probably my highlight of the page, of the book. I'll show a more detailed picture of this in the arty part, and it might sound weird, but the way that they've drawn one of the knights decapitating the policeman is done really well. It's drawn really well. The detail, you can see kind of, the head is flying off, and you can see the last moment on that man's face, on that police officer's face, and it's very detailed, it's very clear and crisp, and yeah, it's just great. Overall, gonna give this a 9 out of 10, based on the swirly panels, the colours, and the detail, and just the paneling was awesome. It's fast paced, like I said before, fast where it needs to be, slow where it doesn't, slow where it needs to be, and yeah, just kept a really good pace all the way through. Really enjoyed that, and to be able to do that with just, through drawing and the colouring and the lining of it all is fantastic, and the paneling. So yeah, I'm going to give that 9 out of 10 altogether for the art. Development, in terms of the characters, so we knew Galahad was going to be finding the Grail anyway, or that was going to be his mission. What I really liked was Duncan standing up for, I wouldn't say he was standing up for Galahad, it was more standing up for the fact that his grandmother shouldn't be murdering people. But, it's that kind of courage that he was saying, like, no to her shooting Galahad was really good. And that kind of is showing that kind of courage, and he's coming out of his clumsiness, and he's starting to think a bit more about what's going on and what's happening and how he wants situations to turn out. Rose is slowly starting to get used to the whole thing, but she's starting to connect some dots and ask about the dots that she can't connect in terms of Bridget's past, how she knows so much, and why she knows so much, and why is she doing all of this. And yeah, so it's really, I think Rose is going to be a really good way, a natural way for us to find out more things about Bridget. I think there may be a lot of tension in future issues to come, but we'll just have to wait and see. And Bridget's story is becoming more intriguing, because like Rose is thinking, I want to know what is going on with Bridget. Why is she like this? She's quite a violent person. She's like a shoot now, ask later kind of person, and it's like, what has happened in your life to make you like that? How did you get into this kind of business? Why are you like this? How are you like this? What happened? What have you been through? What adventures and catastrophic events have you been through to get you to this point? And the story, the development of the story, so how this has progressed from the start, from the first issue, it's looking really good. It's developing really well. It's coming along nicely, and it's leading you through the book. I mean, this is chapter 4, got 2 left. It's leading you through the book, and it's leaving me to question what is going to happen next, and I'm really enjoying it. And this is going to get an 8 out of 10. Really, really like that. Very good. I don't really know what else to say. I've said a lot already. And this is the kind of book I'm reading that just makes me want to read more. I want to read the next one. I want to go straight onto it, but I can't. I'm going to wait till next week and for issue 5 of chapter 5. But so that's it from me. So that's the overall scores. In my personal opinion, story 9.5, art 9, and development 8 out of 10. Really enjoyed that. Okay, I'm going to move on to the arty part now. I'm going to show you in more depth some of the panels and pages that I really liked in this issue. It's probably my favourite issue so far for art, so I hope you enjoy this as much as I did, and I'll see you in a minute. So that's it from me for another week, guys. I'm going to be reading. Let me get my bookmark in there. I'm going to be reading chapter 5, issue 5 of Once and Future, volume 1, The King is Undead, next week. So make sure to watch. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe, press the like button, share it with your friends if you think they'll enjoy it, or just share it in general to some sort of Reddit page, anything. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram. Just look for @ScottShelf and you'll find me there, and you'll get notified of when the next video is going to come out. So hoping to see you next week. I've had a great time reading this. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you've read along with me and had similar thoughts. If you have, let me know. If you haven't, let me know. But anyway, that's it from me this week. See you guys. See you next week. Thanks a lot. Bye.